with us in the booth. Did you envisage such a sensational start to this Grand Prix, David?
No, it's been an absolutely fantastic race, and I don't think any of us could have expected it to be so close. And I have to say that although Damon's dropping back a little bit from Michael just now, he looks like he's been driving absolutely out of his skin, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to see things closed up a little bit later in the race.
Oh, Schumacher in trouble. Schumacher, look at Damon Hill and Schumacher. Oh no! Schumacher and him, and this looks like the World Championship.
This is the end for Schumacher.
Well, let's wait and see. Whatever happens to Damon, he's in trouble as well.
He's in trouble as well.
So Schumacher out of his car. Damon Hill will have to go back to the pits with a bumper arm on the left-hand side. Whatever Schumacher did in the corner, and Damon now, you can see a tire looks like it's gone down. Is this the end of the 94? What an appalling sight for what has been absolutely fantastic. Damon Hill, left front going down, but more importantly, the upper wishbone, you can see the rearward link of that upper wishbone is kinked. Damon Hill ought to be able to get back to the pits, but can they get it changed in enough time to allow Damon Hill to get back out onto the circuit and
Well, John, they are preparing. I can see a track rod in the pits. I can see a wishbone in the pits, and there was a very disgusted Schumacher on screen.
Well, let's have a look again and see Schumacher in the corner where we saw him go off this morning. Turns in. Suddenly something happens. I don't know, it looks very strange. Hits the wall, bounces back out again, and Damon Hill now coming up on the inside. Schumacher squeezes, Damon hits him, rides his rear over the left front of Damon into the tire wall. Now, what caused Schumacher to veer into the wall in the first place? Was it hit, or was it... Well, there are marks, you can see.
Oh, he just gone straight on all by himself.
Yes, and Damon clearly no involvement whatsoever. Now Schumacher shuts the door.
I think, John, Schumacher sort of drove into him.
So Damon is now back into pit lane. Left front deflated, a new left front goes on, and the mechanics will get to work replacing that upper wishbone. But the problem is, how much time is Damon Hill going to lose in the pit lane? Where will he rejoin this Grand Prix? Disgust on his head, you can see him shaking it. Now I think they're trying to straighten that out. I wouldn't be particularly happy. Patrick Head looking at it. Well,
and
he's still looking at it.
For the road for Nigel, for Damon Hill. Is that the end of his World Championship challenge? That is bent. Is it broken? Is it safe going out? What? The engine has died. Gerhard Berger is going to lead this Grand Prix from Jean Alesi, Mika Häkkinen, Rubens Barrichello and Martin Brundle. But this is the end for Damon Hill, or is it?
Well, in my mind, there is no possibility of allowing Damon to drive with a wishbone that has been kinked severely as that, because under certain loads that could be a mechanical problem. Let's look and see how Damon Hill saw this incident. This is the onboard camera. Schumacher, all on his own, suddenly veered off to the right. Was it a mistake? Was it a car problem? Pulls straight across to the left to block Damon, then back to the right and forces Damon into the curb. Nowhere for Damon Hill to go. And that is almost a mirror of what occurred back in Japan with Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. And I can imagine the disgust. Well, there's one face who knows what he's done. There's another man who has seen the World Championship taken away from him. He feels justifiably robbed. And the entire Williams team, they're standing around looking at it, waiting for it to repair in itself. They've now got the toolbox out. They're now going to take that offending part off. Michael Schumacher, well,
if only Damon had waited for another corner, maybe. Who knows? What can we say? Nigel Mansell leads the Australian Grand Prix at the end of lap 37, 3.2 seconds ahead of Gerhard Berger, Jean Alesi, Mika Häkkinen, Rubens Barrichello and Martin Brundle. But what a way to end the season, with Michael Schumacher probably making his one and only single mistake of the year. There is Damon Hill. He will be saying words I will not repeat on television. But anyway, teammate Mansell leads the race.
Well, everybody in the Benetton Ford team are delighted. They have got a world champion driver. But what a way to win it. And Michael Schumacher, I know, is not happy the way that he has won this world championship. In fact, well, I'm sure he's aware that Damon is not on the circuit. It's disappointment beyond words for Damon Hill. He drove absolutely brilliantly. It's the best Grand Prix I believe, in all those we've seen from Damon Hill. And to have it end in such a dramatic and, in effect, unnecessary fashion, because clearly Michael Schumacher drove into Damon Hill's car. We saw history repeat itself. Back in 1989, it was Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. Back in 1990, it was Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. And here in Adelaide, in the last Grand Prix of the year, Michael Schumacher drove his car, gave Damon Hill no room whatsoever. Now, the argument will be that Michael could have said, well, he didn't have to pass me. But Damon, in my mind, he put his car in position. He clearly was forced into no man's land. An awful and a bad taste to what up to now had been an absolutely fantastic finale in the 94 championship. Damon Hill will, I'm sure, in a moment when this race is finished, want some explanation. Michael, that smile, I have to say, is... Well, you are world champion.
He'll probably say you can't believe it, John. Driving off the circuit, hitting the wall, and one corner later, he's basically world champion. Anyway, one thing they're not going to win at Benetton is the World Constructors' Championship, because Williams, the team that has got one car running already leading their championship, has definitely, well, lazy stalls his engine during his second pit stop. So Williams has won the Constructors' World Championship, and Michael Schumacher, the drivers. Morning, George.
Good morning. Well, I think this is amazing to see how Schumacher had to do that, didn't he? Close the door. He was deliberately did that. There was no question about that. He did it deliberately, and I think it goes along with the rest of the year, in as much as all the little tricks and underhanded stuff that went down. It's such a shame.
Well, I mean, I look at Damon, you can see the sheer disbelief, the disappointment on his face. But Damon, you should not be. You have fought today like a champion, and the whole Hill family must be proud of the achievements and the efforts of Damon Hill throughout the 94 season. And today, in my mind, Damon Hill's drive was a drive that was worthy of a world champion. Frank Williams absolutely devastated equally by that maneuver that we saw some 4 laps ago. And clearly the damage to Damon Hill's car was much greater than we were able to see from the camera in the pits, because had they been able to replace that upper wishbone on the left-hand side, they would have done so. But if it's any consolation to Williams, they are on course to win the Manufacturers' Championship. And Nigel Mansell currently leading this, the 10th Grand Prix of Australia in Adelaide.
A man born in 1953 leads the Australian Grand Prix. A man born in 1959 is in second place. Gerhard Berger. Who's going to win, Mansell or Berger? Schumacher is world champion. Williams has won the Constructors' title. We'll be back after the